Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about a theory of mine I've had for a while. Um, the fact that I don't think narcissists are actually real people, based on the fact that they project a lot of things that they refuse to accept in themselves. Like the way they treat others is like a projection of like their internal reality, their truth. They project it onto others. So we know that narcissists are empty, are kind of soulless people that don't actually have like a behavior of their own. They mimic others. They don't like they don't really they almost feel empty, like something is missing. They have this uncanny valley feeling, like there's something off, like they don't seem human. They seem like something is not right, something is missing, something is wrong. And I try to understand it myself. Then I try to understand their behavior and why they are so like aggravating, why they are so chaotic and confusing. And the only way that I could sort of sit down and make sense of it was to make up my mind and say they're not actually real people. That's the only way I can make sense of them, because it makes no sense for me to see them as real people. It's very confusing. But when I just realize that okay, maybe they're not, it sort of reduces a lot of frustration and anger. But beyond that, I sort of used like their behaviors to determine it. So what I did was basically using their projections and turning it around to hear what they're saying to me. Because the narcissist isn't talking to me, is they're always talking to themselves, and they're always treating others the way they treat themselves. And perhaps by looking at it and understanding the structure of projections, we can see clues to that theory that perhaps these people are actually just not real. They're just empty bodies moving around, somehow feeding off other people. Somehow they just manage to keep being alive through other people's energy. So let's get to it. So if you've ever met a narcissist in your life, they tend to treat people like objects or background characters. So it's always like they're the main character and everybody else doesn't matter. Their feelings don't matter, their needs don't matter, it's only me, 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 me. So let's talk about the anatomy of the projections. So we know that narcissists, they reject their selves, their true selves, and they're also like self-destructive in nature. And they often latch onto other people to buffer this their self-destruction. So if you're not around, they'll self-destruct. But if you're around, they'll rather destroy you first than destroy themselves. So they latch onto other people to slow down their own self-destruction. Okay, they also want to escape their reality. They don't want to be who they are, because they have self-rejection. Anything they are, they don't want it, so they want to be someone else. And oftentimes the target is always an empath, right? The exact opposite. They want to have the qualities of empaths because they don't have it. So they seek inner substance from them, so become like them, at least temporarily. And how do they seek this inner substance? Through things like attention seeking, abuse, just anything to get your attention, your reactions. They are able to siphon off your energy. Let's talk about law of diffusion. If anybody yes was a science student, you probably heard of law of diffusion. That is when molecules move from one like space to another space that is empty. Like if you're in a room and there's no air inside it, and you open a room that has lots of air, the air will diffuse out of that room with air into the room with no air. So law of diffusion just basically says that where there's emptiness, things go into it. So in a way, it sort of mirrors this narcissist, where they tend to try and fill in the void they have. So because they're naturally empty, they're always trying to take to fill in. But the issue is that no matter how much they take, it's almost like it doesn't last. So it's not just that they're empty, but it's like like a void that goes on forever, like it leaks out somehow. So yeah, so when they have enough energy, they tend to appear like they're healed human beings. They tend to be nice, tend to be okay. Then once they become drained, they turn to like definition of pure evil. So it's almost like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When he takes the potion, he tries to change to a normal person. Then after a while, he returns back to Mr. Hyde. So it's almost like no matter what they do, they can't hold on to that temporary good state. It's not something that is in their nature. That's why they constantly go out of their way to get it from others. So to get this theory, narcissist is everything they make the victim feel, only that it is real, not an illusion. So I'm going to invert all their projections to sort of see what they're talking about. When you invert a narcissist projection, it becomes a confession. So we're going to see what they're talking about and use that to determine whether or not they're literally telling us that they are not real people this whole time and we just didn't know how to decode it. So I also want to mention the way victims react to their abuse as also a key indicator, because we treat them that like they're extreme humans, like their feelings are so important, their thoughts are so important, they're so dangerous. And this could also reveal like the compensation the victims are like reacting to their projections. The victims now see them as more human than they see themselves, sees their thoughts and feelings as more important or more valuable than their own. So in a way, the victims sort of become NPCs during their abuse, just to show you the exchange of identities during this abuse that can further gauge us into understanding that in reality, these narcissists might not actually have feelings, thoughts, or even be dangerous. So we know that they treat people as so these are a list of the projections to help me understand this, to help me clarify on this NPC theory. So they treat others as objects. They treat others as extensions of themselves. They treat others as either all good or bad. They treat others as disposable. They treat others as if they have no emotions. So basically, they dehumanize people and turn them into tools or lifeless objects that they can use for their own satisfaction. These projections are also confessions from them. So how is this a confession? Alright, let's try and understand what we've observed by their behaviors and how it matches their projections. We know that they are the ones that tend to go from either all good or all bad, because they are at one point love bombing you to devaluing you. So by them switching up on you, they are also showing you that they are talking about themselves. So basically, they're treating others like they're NPCs, because narcissists assumes everybody is an NPC like them. if that makes any sense. Just like how they are paranoid by other people and treat other people like they are evil, because narcissists assume everybody is evil like them. The way they treat others is how they assume others will treat them, because that is who they are. They treat others as they treat themselves. If you refuse to treat them as they are, they will treat you as they are. If that makes any sense. So yeah, so more projections. They see people as either useless or useful. They lack emotional memory, so they used to reset after every interactions. They do something wrong, they not act like it never happened. I mean, you'll be wondering, doesn't that sound like someone that is not, like something is off there? Like, does that seem like a human being that just does things and acts like it doesn't happen? Like, they have the same behavior. They also have limited emotional responses. When someone expresses emotions, the narcissist doesn't like care, or they start glitching, or they say some cliche responses like, "Oh, you're too sensitive," or "You're overreacting." They don't know. It's like they don't have an ability outside of those responses. They either get irritated, bored, or it's almost like they glitch or something. It's almost like they're like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do here? I don't know what to do here." It's like there's no get. So anyways, you think they're the only real player. Basically everybody else is fake, because they repeat the same phrases. They have the same loops of like the same phrases they go through. The narcissistic abuse cycle keeps repeating over and over and over. They don't learn anything from it, they just keep doing it, escalating, and that is just simply what they are. They don't operate like people that learn and move on. They are just sort of stuck in a story that is like how an NPC is literally stuck in a story. They give them codes, what to say, what to do, and they don't really go outside of it. They don't know how to go outside of it. So it's sort of like they're so, is it robotic, or they're just, it's something very like something limited about what they do. They're limited by who they are. They can't go outside of that person. They can't learn to be better. They tend to not self-reflect. So they are very limited by who they are. There's nothing more they can be but who they are. So basically, based on what we're saying, if we do invert their projections, from them calling you an object, they might simply just be saying they are an object. From them saying you are an extension of me, they could just be saying that they are the extension of you. From them talking about you either being all good or bad, they could just be saying I am either all good or bad. And that is true, because they do fluctuate from being very very good to very very bad. From them saying, "Oh, you need me," they could simply be saying that they actually need you. And from them treating you like you have no emotions, could just be them revealing that they have no emotions. If we were to take these projections and invert them, they do become confessions, and because of that, we can definitely lean into the fact that these narcissist people are not actually human in the way that we think they should be. There might be something very limiting about them that we are not aware of, because we can only see from our own perspective. But if we were to take their words, their projections, and use that as a source of information, we can gain an insight into their mind to see who they are. because they literally scream it out every single day, but in an inverted way. So based on all this, there's definitely a very loud, like, light bulb no, not light bulb, a very loud, like, question mark sort of going off, like, could it be, it sounds ridiculous, but could it actually be that these people are not real people? And this whole time we've been thinking they're like us, but they're actually not like us. They're just like limited humans without souls. They don't operate based on instinct, and basically that's it. And it appears that they can be really, really selfish, and they just do whatever they do to get whatever they want, and they don't really care about it. It's like, I want this, whatever I'm going to do to get it from you, I'm going to do it, and I don't give a damn about morals. What is morals? But they're so like base level intelligence, animalistic. They don't really go into morals or understanding the emotions of others. It's almost just like a something mimicking something and just doing it in a horrid way. It's just like a very horrible glitch in the system that is just destroying things. And the only way to protect yourself is to like step away from that glitch, because if you touch it, it corrupts you, and the cycle of abuse starts. Your life starts to fall apart. So I just feel like there are glitches or viruses or something went wrong, and what, like, this, they should have deleted, but they're not deleting. Something is like sustaining them, and I'm guessing it's the victim's energy. So it's just sort of like keep away from it, and they self-destruct on their own. It's like a prolonged self-destruction, or like a deleting process that is being blocked by us interacting with it and giving it energy. It's just a theory of mine, just something I just feel like talking about. Perhaps other people could see some logic in what I'm saying, but based on this, it's definitely a very strong, I will give it a 50-50 chance that these people are actually just not actual people in the way that we think they are. So to reveal the truth of every narcissist, inversion of their projection, everything they say about you is their own truth, and that says something. You need to also delete everything they've said about you indirectly. So get rid of the negative beliefs they put inside you, and just see it as what it was, a projection of their own truth that they refuse to accept, and stick to your reality, because narcissists are going to try to force their reality on you, and you're going to have to fight for your own reality. It seems easy to stick to your own reality, but narcissists have a way of twisting things that you start doubting your own reality. So it's important that you fight for your reality as much as the narcissist fights for their own, because their own doesn't make any sense, but they fight for it like their life depends on it. So you too have to fight for your own, and in time your own will always be the one that stands out as truth, and theirs will crumble as long as you do not believe it. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been a very controversial this has been a very controversial topic to talk about, but it's not something that it's just been like looking at me in the face like this could actually be true. But there's no like scientific study on it and everything, but it's simply like a straightforward thing. Like their projections are their conversions, and if they are projecting this to you, they are telling us this is what they are. And I guess that is the straightforward summary of this video. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm sure that different types of narcissists, different types of levels, different intensities. Some people might just be narcissistic but not actually be narcissists. So it depends. It might not always be 100%. So, but it is something that is definitely um something to look at in the coming years. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Goodbye.